Is the customer always right? That's the question we're asking here today on today's episode of Index Card Insights. This is episode 85. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, you guys. Tonight, I should say, because it is 11:47 p.m. It is the nighttime. This is Monday night. We're kicking off another episode of Index Card Insights. Happy to be here. You guys, as you know, Index Card Insights goes Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're just getting it kicked off this week. This is Monday's episode, and we're asking the question, is the customer always right? I'm going to answer that question for you guys tonight. My opinion on it anyways. But before I do, I want to remind everybody to get over to epicconversions.com. Check out my newest one, the Commodity Chronicles, my brand new newsletter. I just put it out. It is for sale now. It's going to be on sale for the next 4 days. Then it's going to double in price. So make sure you get over there, epicconversions.com. You'll find it real easy. There'll be a link to Commodity Chronicles. Check it out. Also, listen, guys, if you enjoy the stuff I'm doing tonight, be sure to check out my ECIC group calls. You can find a link to that over to epicconversions.com as well. We do group coaching every single Thursday night. We go deep, tactics, strategies, you name it, tips. We get into it on group calls every Thursday night. And then if you like my newsletters that I put out, if you like the products I put out, you should seriously consider joining ECIC discounts. All right. You can find a link to that over on epicconversions.com as well. ECIC discounts actually gets my products days, sometimes weeks before I put them out to the public. For example, I just put out the Commodity Chronicles to the public today. However, ECIC discounts, they had access to Commodity Chronicles on the 20th of April, right? So they've already had it for 10 days. So it's definitely worth your time to join. Also, with ECIC discounts, I launched my newsletters at $7.99 on sale, right? But ECIC discounts is only $5.99 a month, right? It's $6 a month. So it's like a $2 discount to join that, and you never miss one of my releases, and you get them early. So it's a super great club. It's exactly what I said it is. It's discounts, right? So anyways, let's get into tonight's episode. It's Index Card Insights. This is episode 85. You already know, guys, we're counting down. Episode 85. We started season 1 on episode 100, and we're counting down to episode 1, all right? So if you've been following me for the last 15 episodes, man, kudos to you. Hats off to you. You're a night shifter. You've been with me the whole time. We're going to go all the way to episode 1. Man, I got to do something special for episode 1 too. Seriously. Can't be playing around on episode 1. That'll be 100 episodes in the books. But anyways, I digress. Let's get into tonight's episode. Is the customer always right? Tell you a quick story. So a few days ago, a buddy of mine, fellow product vendor, was complaining about their customers being like dense. Some of them, right, being dense, not knowing how to click on a link and access their products and stuff like that. Just being really kind of dumb and not smart enough to figure out how to do stuff. He's just kind of complaining about him being kind of not very savvy. And then like a few days after that, he figured out that actually there was a problem with the platform he was releasing on. So it wasn't really the customer's fault. It was just the platform was messed up and he didn't know it. And then I think he felt kind of bad about it. Then after that, it was like, oh man, here I am like talking smack about my customers and like they just couldn't access the thing. It was legitimate, honest mistake. So I just wanted to kind of tell you that story to give you some context. But things like that have happened to me before too, man. That's happened to all of us. We're customers are like complaining about not being able to access something, and in your mind you're like, what the heck, dude? I put this in such a way so it should have been so easy to access. It's very simple. What the heck's going on around here? And then you go and you try to, oh, I'm going to make a video. I'm going to show you how to do it. I can't believe this is so simple. And sometimes it is, sometimes it's simple to you and it's not simple to them. And you got to kind of like make a little step by step and help people, sometimes there's something wrong, and like you just didn't realize there was something wrong, and you got to get in there and fix it. So um, that's kind of how I want to start this with that little story. So let me give you an insight. Insight number one, when it comes to the customer always being right, right? First of all, let me answer the question for you. Yes, in my opinion, the customer is always right. Now, I know that's a little contrary to what you have heard. I know that there is an age old saying that says the customer is always right. But I know in recent years, you've probably heard people say the customer's not always right. You know, now I'm going to take it back and I'm going to tell you the customer is always right. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. All right. Because I truly believe in my heart that the customer is always right. Let me explain myself. Okay. My first insight. All right. The realm of nuance. Not everything is literal. I think people today have a problem taking everything a little bit too literally. When 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 that age-old saying came out, when I first started being exposed to it, that the customer is always right, like everybody else, I kind of took it pretty literally. Um, but after I had been doing business for quite a few years, I started to figure out some of the nuance of that phrase, "The customer is always right," and ultimately, what I figured out was the customer is always right. And the reason the customer is always right, you guys, is because the customer votes with their wallet, right? If the customer is not happy, they will put away their wallet and they will go somewhere else, right? Now, who's right? What if all your customers decided they didn't like the way you did business and they all put their wallets away and went somewhere else? Then what happens? Well, what happens is now you're out of business. That's what happens. So now who's right? Right? So when we look at it that way, um, we start to see how the customer is always right. Okay. But does that mean that we always have to do things the way the customers want us to do them? No, that's not what I'm saying. And I'll get into a couple more insights and I'll explain to you what I mean. But I do want you to get this one insight about the realm of nuance. The customer is always right, in my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm always going to do things the exact way the customers want me to do them, but it does mean I recognize the fact that ultimately the customer can pack up their wallet and go home. They don't have to play with me. They can take their business somewhere else. So ultimately, yes, the customer is always right, and I think as business people, we have to be aware of that fact, right? And what does that make us do if we're aware of that fact? It makes us respect our customers a little bit more, right? That leads me to insight number 2, okay? Insight number 2, balance and fairness, all right? Now, my customers, the way I like to treat them is with balance and fairness, right? It doesn't mean they're always going to get their way. Sometimes a customer might want a refund. Um, but if I have a no refund policy and it's clearly stated on my sales page and it's clearly stated on my download page, then I will politely let them know that I think there's been a little bit of a misunderstanding. I don't offer refunds on PLR. That's something that's clearly stated on the sales page and on the on the download page, right? And I'll let them know that. But I will be very polite and respectful about it. And I feel like this is balance and fairness. If you have a refund policy, you know, make it very, very clear on your sales page. Don't try to hide it. Make it very clear. Make it very easy to see. State your position openly and honestly. Um, if someone reaches out to me and is having some kind of a problem, I'll try to handle it for them as best I can. I've been known to make support videos for people when I have time. I'll just jump on a call and do a live stream for somebody. No problem. I will take the time to try to be balanced and fair with my customers. I'm not a pushover. I don't let people take advantage of me, but I do try to be fair with people. Um, Obviously, I don't like my time wasted, but I think it's important to make time for your customers because the customer is always right, meaning the customer can pack up their wallet and go home. They don't have to play with you. So I think it's important for you to, be balanced and fair when you're dealing with customers, even if you don't always give them the answer that they want. Um, but I think when you're creating products, and you're selling products, I think it's important to, you know, make sure the products actually do what you say they do. Don't overpromise on your sales page and deliver on the product. I think it's important to have a balanced and fair price. Um, you know, and I think for me personally, I'm kind of old school. I like to over deliver on products. I like to have a customer get in there and feel like they got their money's worth. I want them to feel like they got more than their money's worth, like they got a lot. I want them to feel like that, and I want them to feel like they got a good thing, they did a good thing with that investment. And then if they have a problem and they reach out to me, I want them to know I'm not going to ignore them. I want them to know I'm going to get back with them. Within 24 hours, I'm going to be there for them. I don't want them to feel like they've invested in my business or in Epic Conversions and like now they've been had. You know what I mean? I don't want them to feel like that. I try to treat every customer the way I would treat a family member. That's just the way I do business. I've been doing that way for years, and that's served me very well. But my insight too, when it comes to the customer always being right, is I try to operate with a balance and a fairness for customers. Another example of this would be my Insiders Club. Recently, well, at the beginning of this year, I moved my Insiders Club. It was a pretty major shift, actually. The Insiders Club was divided into three separate membership clubs, and it was moved to Thrivecart. So it was a complete overhaul transition of my continuity program. Um, and I had some lifetime members. I've been running Insiders Club since 2016, so I have lots of lifetime members in there. And it's like, okay, this Insiders Club is kind of being overhauled. It's being changed into three different clubs. So what does that mean? I got lifetime members in there. I mean, I could have said, okay, well, the Club is coming to an end, and now it's going to be these three separate clubs. So your lifetime membership is null and void. Sorry, the Insiders Club you signed up for is over. Could have done that, but I don't think that's balanced and fair. What I want is I want for people who deal with me to feel like they got a good shake. I don't want them to feel like they've been screwed over in any way. So what I decided to do was I decided to grandfather them into the club of their choice. Listen, the Insiders Club's being overhauled, it's being dismantled, it's going to be broken up into three separate clubs. Um, and you guys are lifetime members. So I want you to pick whichever club of your choice and you're grandfathered in, no charge. Now, I feel like that's balanced and fair. I think there's a lot of ways I could have done it. That's the way I chose to do it. I wanted to move in a way that made everybody happy, and that's what I mean. That's an example of being balanced and fair with your customers. That worked for me. That worked for them, and it just worked out. So that's insight number two. When it comes to the customer always being right, I try to operate with a balance and fairness, right? Not being a pushover, just being fair, the way I would treat my family members. So, anyways, that's my insight number two. Insight number three. Um, this is important, okay? Respect in the face of rudeness. Respect in the face of rudeness. Now, this is very important, guys. Um, when it comes to the customer always being right, I know people always look at that phrase and with like an attitude of like, that's BS. The customer is not always right. Sometimes the customer gives me a bad review. Sometimes the customer's rude to me when they reach out to me. They're cussing at me. Guys, listen, I've been doing this for a long time, okay? I've been cussed at by customers. Customers have unfairly judged me. I've had customers who I have bent over backwards for, make YouTube videos about my business, slandering me, lying about me. Um, I mean, you name it, man. I've had it all. I've been doing this for a long time, so I've dealt with a lot. But the thing about it is, um, what I've found is that if you're operating from this position of the customer always being right, you understand the concept that the customer can ultimately put their wallet away and go home. They can play with someone else. They don't have to play with you. So what that means to me is not that like I have to agree with everything the customer says, but what it means to me is that like even if I don't agree with them, I'm still going to treat them with respect. I don't have to agree with you to treat you with respect. Respect is free. I can give everybody respect. I think that when someone has spent money with me, they deserve my respect. Um, and the way I look at it is if someone's cussing at me, if someone is being rude to me for whatever reason, maybe they had a bad day, maybe they feel like, I've had people reach out to me because some kind of software or something, some kind of login thing's not working for them right, or they're not understanding how to access the products or whatever. And, maybe they had a bad day. Maybe, other stuff in their life is not going right. And they take it out on me because like I'm just the first person in their way, so it comes out on me. And like for me, what I try to do is I want to try to treat them with respect, even if they're not showing me respect. Um, and the reason why is because a lot of times I think that when people see that you're treating them with respect, when they know they're not giving you respect, they know they're not showing you respect. But when you come back at them with respect, then it kind of like makes them think, oh, I really don't need to be talking quite in this way. I could kind of tone it down a little bit. This man's obviously trying to help me. That's been my experience too. But ultimately, even if they're not going to be respectful, I will still try to treat them with respect, even if like I have to like just give them a refund and be done with them. Even if I have to take it to that level, I'm still going to show them respect as I'm doing it. I'm going to say, hey, listen, man, I think it's just a bad fit. Let me give you your money back and we'll just call it a day. Either way, good luck in all your ventures, whatever. I have very rarely ever had to do that, but if I do have to do it, I'm still going to try to treat people with respect the whole time. Now, am I perfect? Have I always been like that? No. I've been doing this for a long time. It's taken me years to develop these skills. I'm telling you that right now, so hopefully it doesn't take you years of making mistakes to develop these skills. Um, I think the natural reaction when people come at you in a rude way is for you to be rude back to them, Like nobody likes to be cussed at. Nobody likes being like yelled at or treated badly for no reason from their perspective. But at the same time, you have to remember the customer is always right. And when I say the customer's always right, to me, that means the customer can take their money and go away, right? The customer votes with their wallet. And if all the customers have packed up all their wallets and went away, then you're no longer in business. So, like at some point, something has to give. At some point, you have to find a way to be very respectful to people, even if they're not always being respectful to you. Another thing about this respect in the face of rudeness is I deal with I have a global business. A lot of people don't see it like this. A lot of people don't see their online business this way. But when you run an online business, you deal with people from all over the world. I've had people buy my products from all over the world, man. Big Shane Bozar in the house. Wow, A plus camp. Thank you, Shane. Max respect, man. Appreciate you. Um, I've had people buy my products from all over the world, you guys, and I'm not bragging or anything. That's just kind of typical for online business, right? People buy your stuff from all over the world. And when you have people buy your stuff from all over the world, you got to remember, man, people in different places, they have different culture. Their cultures are different. What is rude in this country might not be rude in this country. Things are a little bit different everywhere, right? So I think when you're choosing to sell your products all over the world, you really have to be more tolerant of your customers, especially people who have chosen to spend their money with you. You have to be more tolerant of how they talk to you, whatever they're saying, whether you see it as rude or not. You have to maintain a standard of respect. So yeah, so those are really my three insights on it, guys. When it comes to the customer always being right, I do feel like the customer is always right. I know that in this day and age, a lot of people don't feel that way, but I do. I do feel that way. And the three reasons that I have are: one, the realm of nuance. Not everything is literal. And when it comes to the customer always being right, I feel like that's a nuanced phrase. All right. Number two, right? I feel like when it comes to the customer always being right, I try to operate with balance and fairness for my customers. Okay. And then number three, guys, I try to operate with respect in the face of rudeness, right? Doesn't mean you have to agree with your customer. Sometimes you have to tell your customer things they don't want to hear. Like, if I have a no refund policy and a customer wants a refund, I'm going to have to tell them something they don't want to hear. I'm going to have to tell them, hey, I'm sorry, but I don't give refunds on this kind of a product. It's clearly stated on the sales page. It's clearly stated on the download page. Sorry, but that's not going to happen. And that's the best way to proceed. And if you have something clearly stated on your sales page and on your download page, you need to stand by that. As soon as you start like giving in to people who want something and it goes against what you've put on your sales page and what you put on your download page, now you've moved into the realm of pushover. That's not you being respectful. That's not balance and fairness. Now you've moved into the realm of pushover, and you're going to start attracting people, and they're going to start looking at you like it's lunchtime. That's not what you want, and that's not operating within my standard of the customer always being right. So anyways, I hope that's helpful to you guys. Listen, again, the Commodity Chronicles is on sale now. It's on half price for the next 4 days. EpicConversions.com is the place. ECIC group calls. We do coaching every single week. Check it out. ECIC discounts is where you can get a discount on all my product releases. All that you can find at EpicConversions.com. Thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight, you guys. I'll see you tomorrow for another episode. Peace, everybody.